Kia ora, New Zealand. Welcome to Sweet Spin Live. My name's Drake, and we are on episode 43. 43. Brady, good evening. How are you?
Howdy, Matt. How you doing? Good, brother.
Very good. I was just reflecting just now. 43, eh? We're coming up to the big 50. So we're gonna have to work that out. I don't know what we're gonna do over Christmas, New Year. Probably take a little break, but I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say what's bigger, 50 or 52? The 50 mark or the year mark at 52?
Well, I think if we have a couple of weeks off over Christmas, then they might even be the same one, and our year would be the 50, and that would make sense. But we shall have to see. More on that to come. We've still got a few episodes to get through before then.
Yeah, maybe rumor has it a Dow disc giveaway. We'll have to see.
Well, now you're asking. We shall see. Right. We've got a great show to get through tonight. So we've got hot scores coming up. We're going to go around the country for the sanctioned leagues as well. There's plenty going on there. And then we've got our guest, Connagh Mckinstry, is going to be joining us shortly. He's going to stay for a bit of a chat and a few good scores that he's been hitting recently. We'll get on to that shortly. Then me and Brady, you've got a couple of things you wanted to talk about around PDGA membership and being a member of the PDGA, etc. So we'll come to that one. And then we're going to go through our results of the Delta Blues Buster, which happened last weekend. We're going to do our picks for the Bros for Chains Charity Classic this weekend. Hopefully they'll go a little bit better than our picks did for the Delta Blues, and we're also going to be previewing some upcoming events. So without further ado, we're going to go through hot scores. Brady, takes away.
Yeah, let's start off down south this week, as every week. Let's go to Invercargill, Queen's Park. Trent Hogg takes a hot round at -15. Moving up the country to Dunedin in Chingford, we have Quinn coming in at -6. Also, shout out to Dunedin's new 9-hole course, the Brockville course. Congratulations, everyone, for getting another course in the ground. We have Jay Matthew, Andrew Fleming, Tom McKay, Cameron Mackey, all coming in at 5 down for the new course. Congratulations, guys. Sliding across to Otago and Queenstown in the Gardens, coming out of, well, I guess he never really retired, did he? Russell King, 12 down, 45. Nice shooting, Russ. Out to Tucker's, always sunny at Tucker's. Mikey Yu with 2 rounds of -10 this week. Well done, Mikey.
Very good.
Sliding up the country into Christchurch in the Garden City, Jelly Park, we have Dwayne coming in at -11 this week. Out to Brooker Ave, we have Patty. Patty's coming in at -5. And at Queen's Park, we have Dylan. Dylan comes in at -8. I do want to give another little South Island shout out to Nelson and the Saxon Fields. They had the third of their 3 events this year. To Isaac Howard. Isaac Howard takes out the hot round at -8 and the win in a playoff. So congratulations, Isaac, this week. Hey, Matt, take us to the North Island.
Okay, so starting off in the capital at Berrenport Hills, Cy Fogarty and Flavio Mayorga hit 5 under par in the city. Over to Koi Koi and Elliot Dunn and Andy Davey tie for a 2 under in Petone. And up at Harcourt Park, it's our very own Brady Kuech, who takes out a 4 under par. That was last night, Brady? That was very good. Up to the mighty Manawatu, and Galal Brizzle hits 5 under par at Linklater. And across east to Flaxmere, Anthony Rogers hits -1 in Hastings. Topor, and it's Jeremy Meverell who hits par at Spa Park Reds. And here it is. Connagh Mckinstry hits at Inglewood -11. 11 under par on one of the hardest courses in the country, which is just silly, quite frankly. Up at McLaren's, Jake hits a 3 under par, so well done to him. We're going to come on to the 11 under par shortly because Connor's on the show, so we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But that's just a mental score. Going around the leagues, any given Monday, Peter McKay 10 under par, 958 rated round was good enough for this week. And it's a double from Brady in the city with the Berrenport 200 taking out a 955 rated 7 under par. And for all those who are coming up to Harcourt Park, if you want to hit a 962 rated round, you'll have to go 4 under par, which is what Brady did last night. So very well done to him. The Henderson midweek league, I think it's on a Wednesday, is also on. And so in third place, we had Steve Brown with 9 under par, and Mike Foley and Justin Workman, he's still in the country, took out the league with 10 under par. So well done to them. Also, shout out to Michelle Simpson, who led the ladies division with a 6 under par, and which was enough for a tie of 4th overall. So well done to Michelle. Looking forward to seeing more from her this season. Lovely stuff. Okay, so that's all of our leagues done. Let's introduce our guest tonight. Our guest tonight is the current North Island champ, and at least will be North Island champ for at least a few more months.
Till January, the jerk. Get an extra ride out of that win.
He'll probably be the longest serving North Island champ, quite possibly, at least for one term. And he hit -11 at Inglewood just gone. Good evening, Connor.
Hey, gents, how's it going?
Very good, thank you. Very good. You must be buzzing off that hot score.
Yeah, finally put together a good round, some nice putting, and everything seemed to follow that. So it's good. I'm playing pretty well at the moment, enjoying the golf.
Good stuff.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, can you talk us through the round? Like 11 down, bogey free is no joke on any course, let alone Inglewood. Like, what did it feel like? Was it driving? Was it putting? Like, take us through the round.
Just off to a real hot start. I got the first 5, and I mean, it's no joke out there. Hole 1's good 350 meters uphill. So getting that one, I've only got that one a couple of times, and everything just sort of flowed. Managed to park quite a few holes early, so I didn't have to test the putter out. And then, I think I probably missed one circle 1 putt and nothing from circle 2. And then the few pars I got were just errors on the drive. So still working on that.
Was there anything in the round? Was there any moment where like you felt the nerves and like hands are shaking or anything? Or did you know like from the get-go, from that birdie on 1, like today's going to be hot?
Nah, sort of was just playing a nice normal round with Shannon down in Wellington, and he came up, and I think it was probably when I went to hole 12 and I shanked the drive a bit and then made a putt from about 25, 26 meters to go to, it might have been 8 down at that point or something like that. And I was like, okay, right, this is happening. We'll just carry this on. And then it was 11 down through 15, and then just couldn't make putts after that. As it happens.
Excellent, because that's no joke. It's no joke of a course. And at what point did you kind of think, hang about, I'm onto something special there? Is it when you got to about 15 and you were 11 down, or a little bit earlier?
Yeah, I think so. After 12, hole 13 is probably our hardest hole on the course. And I was like, all right, let's just get through this one with a par. We were just chilling out. And I think I absolutely parked it on the second shot for a tap in. And I was like, all right, 9 down, some easy holes left. This would be the day to carry on and beat the 10 down that I already had. So that was probably the moment.
What do you reckon if it was rated, what do you reckon it would come out at?
Well, North Island's last year 4 down was 1,004 rated or something. So I think you're probably looking at 1050, 1060 there round. Something pretty decent up there.
That is not
well,
bad.
and then how is it? Will the course change for match play? So like you just threw 11 down. Like what can people expect coming up to match play? Can they expect to throw 11 down themselves?
I don't, probably not, but match play is going to be interesting, real fun. So on the first day we're teeing off and everyone's going to play the B tees. So for the likes of us in the pro division who don't get to try those other tees very often, everyone's going to be put on the B tees. Because I mean, essentially after we do some seeding, it's just 1v1. So when the second day comes, everyone will be playing 80s. And I mean, it doesn't matter if you're going to shoot 10 on a hole. If the other guy shoots 11, you win it, right? So I think that's going to be a bit of a cool difference, is getting to play all sorts of tees.
And then for those out-of-towners, who's organizing that event?
Zach Stoll, the backbone of pretty much Naki Disc Golf here, and T-Bone always willing to help, Mikey and Jason as well. So good group of us together, and we'll host a nice event for everyone to be involved in.
And taking the Inglewood course, your next event is in Wellington. You're coming down for Fault Line.
Yeah, coming down to
Is that
Fault
right?
Line. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one.
You've played Hardcore Park before.
Correct.
How do you feel your strengths, which were obviously on show at Inglewood, will be able to be translated to the course at Hardcore?
Well, probably not going to help as much. Like I've added probably another 10, 12 meters to my drive recently, which is working nice out at Inglewood all the time. But my putting has been on fire lately. I got these brand new D-line P2s that the Discmania have brought out, and loving them. They're working a treat for me. So definitely going to make up a lot of strokes on the green.
Yeah, and that's a good place to make strokes up on. Especially at Hardcore Park, which is that's what all you do. Is what half your shots will be probably.
Yeah. Upshot and putt for 18 holes around.
Yeah, that's what it'll be. Is if the putter's on, then we could get some good scores out there, I'm sure.
Oh, what were you putting with before the P2s?
Man, I was all over the place. I tried an AVR for a bit. I tried the P1X from Discmania as well. I've got 2 older D-line P2s, and I've got 2 new D-line P2s. So I take all 4 with me when I play around. And at the moment, I know both, even though they're both D-line P2s, the new ones are definitely a lot more overstable. And I've done a lot of putting at the home basket, so I can really tell what to use and what feels comfortable where. And it's just everything's feeling pretty good there.
And what is it about that? Sorry, Brady.
Go ahead, Matt.
All right. What is it about the P2 that you like, or that you seem to connect with? Definitely
the feel of it. And these new ones are pretty grippy, even in the wet. And I love how it feels, and I can just trust it. Like I've felt that I've thrown a lot of understable putters in the past, and these P2s are just, I can trust what it's going to do the whole time. Mm-hmm. So that's definitely, it's all a mental thing for me with putting.
Well, I was going to say, and I'm kind of curious about that too, because you, like myself, are, like kind of that Discmania 1 in 10, and we're kind of coming up to the end of that 10. So I guess start with like what Discmania, like being selected, has been, what you're looking to do in these last couple months, and then if you get selected to be the 1 in 4, what that would mean to you.
Yeah, cool. So I think definitely early on, I was absolutely so stoked to be part of this group and this opportunity that we've got. And I think what made it work is, although we didn't have to, I changed my bag out. I was probably carrying half a Discmania bag already, and I added probably 5 or 6 more discs. And I think it's helped a lot because it's made me stay with the same group of discs. And, you get that familiar feeling with them all the time, rather than just changing up all the time. Like you pick up a new disc every now and then and you're like, wow, this feels great. Add it to the bag, why not? But sticking with the same ones all the time is just, you get familiar with them. I've got discs that have been in there for 2 or 3 years now, and it's just, I know what they're going to do every time. So that was a big thing for me with being this Discmania group, is being familiar with my bag. And at the start of the year, it took a little bit of adjusting to get to, but definitely playing some of the best golf I've ever played at the moment. I think I shot 2 neg 9s out at Inglewood over the last month, and then with this neg 11 as well. Everything's just coming together at once, which is great coming into this next tournament for sure.
And then, so like, what's the future? So like, if you get selected as part of that 1 in 4, what is that going to mean to you?
That would be huge. That means I get to play a lot more of the sport. Work commitments all the time. It's hard to try and get out and about to these tournaments, but being on that group of 4 will be, this will be the priority. This will be where I'm heading. It'll be, I'll probably, if that's the case, I'll probably double or even triple in the tournaments I play next year. A lot more trips down south, getting to all those big tournaments, because they seem to have the biggest numbers down there. And that's definitely where I want to be. I mean, we've got, North Islands, South Islands, Nationals all within 3 months next year.
So January is North Island and Auckland, then South Island in February at Invercargill, and then, Nationals in Wellington.
Definitely. So that's where I want to just keep my game and start peaking through there, and definitely try and take at least, if not a couple of those big titles out. And definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with, hopefully, on that national tour next year. This year, I just haven't got enough tournaments in.
What was Tucker's like? Was that your first South Island event?
Yeah, Tucker's was great. I'd been down there just for casual rounds on a holiday before, but Tucker's was good. You get down there and meet some of the new players, especially some of our group in the Discmania 10 down there that I've never met before. Great blokes. It was awesome catching up with them and getting to know them. Tucker's was a cool course. Like for us up here with big courses all the time, it was the par fours down there were relatively easy. But we only played 2 rounds, I believe, 2 rounds of 27. Yeah. And I think I let myself down a little bit on the first day with some putting errors, and then put it together for the hot round on the second day. So I think I finished a couple shots off the lead. So it's good, but not where I want to be. There was definitely higher goals.
Well, the tournaments come thick and fast in the first part of next year, so there's plenty of opportunity for it. And presumably you'll be at up in Auckland for North Island champs.
Well, I've got to make sure Jackson doesn't have an easy route to it. Make him earn that trophy back. He ain't getting that one easy.
Well, you've got to go and defend, eh? So that's the important thing. Good stuff. So now we're going to move on to Desert Island Disc Golf. So did you bring some discs with you?
I did bring a few discs. Putters mainly, and 1 driver.
Okay, excellent. So the premise for anybody who hasn't seen the show before, Connor is stranded on a desert island, and he's got, fortunately, this island's got a disc golf course on it, and he's been stranded with 3 of his favorite discs and 3 of his favorite card mates, and they can be his card mates can be real or fake or fantasy or from the past or his best friend or whatever. All right, so here we go. What are you throwing?
So as I've already said I'm definitely throwing my P2 as a putter. Can't go wrong with this. It's getting me so many strokes at the moment. But then basically anything mid-range, anything short, I'm really enjoying the Sensei at the moment. The Sensei has been my go-to disc from anything sort of 90 meters and under. That thing put on a rope and it's right there. And then lastly,
so hang on, I just want to, before you move on to the driver, just want to go back to the Sensei a second. For anyone who hasn't thrown it, what might it be similar to?
Oh, good question. I don't know how to compare it to. Like I said, I've stopped throwing so many other discs lately that you can put it on a rope for a good 60, 70 meters. Mm-hmm. You put it on Anheuser and it's going to hold the whole way. Or if you throw it on Heiser, it's definitely not going to flip. So it's a speed. It's a low speed. 3301.
Okay.
It'd almost be similar to another Discmania in my old P3X. Similar to that, I'd say.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I find Senseis are a thinner rim, so it's not as deep as your P2. So, it's not going to be as deep as like an AVR or like say a Nova or something like that. It's a little bit thinner.
That'd be about right. Yeah, for sure. And then finally, the disc that I've been putting some more work into lately is the Enigma. Definitely brought a few of the newer ones, and they just hold the stability for a bit longer, and I can really crank on those now. I think we're getting good. We're getting close to 135, 140 sometimes. So we're getting some nice distance out of them.
And do you find
my 3 discs?
Do you get the most distance out of them straight out of the box, or have you got to work with it first?
Close to it. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks in. Once I get used to it, for sure, I'd say. I've got a couple of beat up ones now, and you beat them up too much, and they turn into a roller. So.
Yeah, they do. I got one of those,
which is great for Inglewood golf course. Can roll them all we want out there. But yeah, the 3 people, was that what the next one was?
Yeah. So who are you taking?
Who are you taking with you?
Who am I taking with me? Well, I gotta play around with the GOAT once. So I'll be with Macbeth. Another player that also commentates is definitely Uliberry. I'd be with him. He just seems like he'd be so much fun on the cards all the time. And then I'd take a local. I'd take T-Bone just so I know I wouldn't come last on the card. I'd take him. He's got good shot. It'll be a good round, and then I know at least I'm coming third.
Good stuff.
He won't like that.
That's excellent. That's
Oh,
fantastic.
give him a couple beers. He'll love that.
Oh man, they won't be able to shut him up.
Excellent. Right, we're going to go to our quickfire round now to get to know you a little bit more. The first round is the family-friendly front nine, which Brady's going to go through. Same questions each week for everybody, and then we've got the safari back nine, which is different questions each week, and it's a this or that format. So Brady, you want to kick us off?
Sweet. We'll start with the family-friendly front nine. Hole 1, what's your name?
Connagh Mckinstry.
Hole 2, place of birth.
Right here in the Naki.
Hole 3, where do you live?
Same place, haven't changed. We moved to Canterbury for a couple of years and came straight back. So right here in the Naki.
Hole 4, what's your PDGA number?
145027.
Hole 5, years playing.
It's got to be coming up to 3 now. Coming up to about 3 years.
Hole 6, favorite disc.
Oh, yeah, it's got to be the P2. It's got to be the new P2.
Hole 7, favorite course.
Can it be one I haven't played?
Yep.
I'm a big fan of Maple Hill's course over in the States. Every time I see that, I want to play it.
Let's go, Vermont. Okay, hole 9, favorite MPO player.
Kyle Klein.
Young gun. And final, hole 9, favorite FPO player.
Haley King.
Young gun again. Matt, how about the back 9?
The back 9. So, hole 10, Inaugural or Discmania?
Discmania, for sure.
Eli or Zach?
Ooh, Zach.
Inglewood or Marylands?
Inglewood.
Tilt or Mutant?
Newton.
Spa Park or McLaren's?
McLaren's.
1,000 rated or win the tournament?
Both, for sure. No, I'd win the tournament first.
Heiser flip or flex?
Flex.
Spin putt or push putt?
Spin.
Taranaki or Egmont?
It's Taranaki.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Connor, thank you so much for joining us this evening. And we'll see you. We will both see you in a week or so's time when you come down to Wellington for Fault Line. So
absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys. It's been brilliant.
Have a safe trip and very best of luck. We shall see you then. Yeah, I'm sure we'll have you on the show again. Until then, have a good one.
One quick plug, Matt. Naki Disc Golf, YouTube, Instagram. Get out there, follow it. We're putting out some more videos all the time. So that's
Naki
where the
Disc Golf, yeah.
Naki Disc Golf.
Excellent. Make sure that you put the link in the comments, and
absolutely
everyone can find it.
Awesome. Cheers, boys.
Right.
Thanks for that.
Cheers,
Connor. Thank you.
See you soon. Bye. 11 down, Brady? 11 down.
Dude, how did that shirt not burn off his back, man? 11 down is hot.
It's silly. Yeah, because Inglewood last year at the North Island Champs, I think the hot round at that tournament was about 4 down. And that was insane when I got to see some of the league card play towards the end of their round, and it was just crazy to hit 11 on that course. Wow, very well done. Okay, moving on.
Meters is going to help.
Say again.
The 10 to 15 meters is going to help, like that extra distance. A lot of the time at Inglewood, like the par 3s are like on the edge of your distance. And so the idea of if he's now comfortably getting to circle 1, and if he's starting to make circle 2 putts with that new trusty P2, like he's going to be dangerous. You don't need any of that distance, but if his putter is hot for fault line, forget about it. Like he's going to be lead card all day.
Yeah. And 10 to 15 meters, if you can do that accurately, that's the difference between middle of circle 2 and middle of circle 1. So, and the difference between maybe, 20, 30% and 70%. So it makes a huge difference. Right. Moving on. Brady, what have you got for us?
I kind of wanted to talk about PDJ and about ratings and that kind of stuff. It came up recently at the leagues. And so, as people know and listeners out there, we in Wellington have started to run more PDJ sanctioned stuff. Like Matt, you're running one league out in Upper Hutt, like I'm running Barenpore in town. We have Fault Line, which is PDJ, like Middle Earth and which is now Nationals next year. That'll be PDJ. And so it came up at one of the leagues of like, well, why do you want PDJ? And like, what does it kind of mean? And I guess the big one that a lot of players I've got in the league are playing for is they want to know how they stack up. Like we may be this little island out in the middle of nowhere on the bottom of the world, but we're still playing the same sport as they're playing in Australia. We're still playing the same sport that they're playing in Finland and the United States and all over. And so it's kind of, well, what does 1,000 rated mean? What does a 1,500 rated round mean? Like Connagh just threw 11 down, which is arguably somewhere in the like 1050 to 1070 range. So literally an average round for Macbeth. And so compared to, I just this week have pulled a 955 rated round and a 962. So that arguably means I'm 10 strokes behind. So my round at Inglewood, if I was playing with Connagh, probably would have been a 1 down. Yeah. Just how it breaks down. And so like that idea of, I think the PDGA is great. And I think sanctioning is great. Like it's very similar to the handicap system in golf is that it allows us to, well, how would we stack up if we went down and played Tuckas from the North Island? How would they stack up when they come up for nationals? So it's good to kind of give that gauge. And then if you want to compete overseas like myself, like there's a little bit more you have to pay attention to. So like I'm trying to keep my AM status so that I can go play AM Worlds in the States. So I've had to turn down cash in the past, or I have to, like in Tauranga up at the Blues Busters, I made, like $25 cash, but I had to have that turned into like disc shop bucks so that I could keep my AM status. Which you can do at these lower level events, like say a league, you can accept cash and it doesn't matter. At a C tier, like how Isengard started and how Middle Earth started, it didn't matter. But like when you get to South Island and North Island Champs and Nationals, these A tier events where you have all of this added cash, that's when it's players like myself kind of have to be mindful about what we're doing. And TDs as well, like you've probably had it not so much come up with league, but I know like Wibbon's global event was kind of interesting too. Like, how did you find that about where people like registered and like being a TD for that event?
Well, what I found, this is one of the points that I think, I will get to this question, but when you mentioned this as a talking point, I was really interested because I know people who play regularly, who play in competitions, they play in leagues, but they aren't members of the PDGA. And I've asked them like, well, why do you not want to be a member of the PDGA? And there's lots of different reasons that they give, and it's often reasons like I don't want to be defined by a number, or I don't see the benefit of it. And actually, I see one of the benefits of it, and there's many different benefits to it. Personally, I think, but one of the benefits is that you can more accurately place yourself into a division that's going to give you a good competitive event. Right. And as a tournament director at the Women's Global event, it was really tough, actually, because we only had because it was the largest women's field in New Zealand history. The vast majority of the players were brand new and in a lot of cases were playing their very first tournament. So weren't members of the PDGA. And there was we had like 3 or 4 propagators and then probably about another half a dozen to a dozen PDGA members. And then everyone else wasn't.
Yeah, like half the field.
Yeah, probably over half the field. And then when you come to going right, so do you play intermediate or do you play rec or do you play novice? Who knows? If you're a member of the PDGA and you've played some events, then you've got some objective gauge to kind of go, this is the division that's going to give me the best competition. And for most people, a good tournament, aside from the meeting everybody playing on a different course and all the other kind of great things that come with a tournament,
the community aspect of it,
the community aspect. In terms of your play, one of the things that's got to contribute to a good playing experience is got to be one that sees you competitive, and that's no one wants to play in a tournament where someone wins by like 20 strokes, or indeed probably play a tournament where you win by 20 strokes. I mean, I'd get bored, I think, if that was the case. I think it's so the PGA rating, it's not in my view, it's not a way to kind of label someone. It's just a way to kind of go, here's an objective measure that you can use yourself for your own benefit to see how you're progressing and how work that you're doing out in the field and all of those practice rounds then make a difference as time goes on. And if you're anything like me, you can't wait for the next ratings update, because I'll finally be able to shake off those horrible rounds that I had at fault line from my rating last year. 11 over par just ain't gonna cut it, and so I'm very much looking forward to the next ratings update that'll include the tournament coming up and
Both
some of the league rounds. And so that's I don't know, that's my view.
Well, yeah, and I would say, it's good data, and I have to talk and explain to people all the time that like numbers don't tell a story. Like a score doesn't have a story. It doesn't tell you that you aced hole 3. It doesn't tell you that you missed the 3-meter putt on hole 10. It doesn't tell you about that, 150-meter throw-in on 18. So there's no story behind a number. Like that disc golf is that, that it has stories, it has communities behind it. The idea of like Barrenpore is a great example. And if anyone who's been following that, follow the Barrenpore 200, it's up on the PDGA. The idea of a 960 rated round was 7 down this week. A 960 rated round 2 weeks ago was 4 over. That's an 11 stroke difference. That's literally par versus what Connagh just shot in Inglewood. And so that idea of
every half a stroke a hole.
Yep. And so if you're thinking like, oh man, I felt terrible this week because I shot 11 shots different from the other time, but actually you shot the same rated round, which meant they're like the equivalent of the same thing. So you're actually not like losing anything. You're actually just playing average, which is good. You know what I mean? And from a TD standpoint, I completely agree, Matt. And I hope that I've seen it used extremely well over in Australia. They have all big shout out to all the Australian listeners. You guys have Australia Disc Golf Day coming up, which is super awesome. It's something that I hope we can emulate here in New Zealand someday. But over in Australia, every member of the Australian Disc Golf is a PDJ member. Every tournament that they host on their tour is a PDJ event, which means, just like you said, Matt, every division there's competition in. There's nobody winning by, I think the biggest in history was like the 2003 Junior Worlds, where Dave Wiggins Jr.'s won his division by 99 strokes. 100 strokes. Yeah. And he was the winner. And like, I don't want to compete against that kid. Why is he, the age protected division is great. And yes, I definitely think that over time that's good. But I definitely also think it's like, I don't care who you are. If you're a 950 plus rated golfer in New Zealand, if you're a 970 rated golfer, you're playing open, tough cookies.
Yeah. No, completely agree. Andrew Barnett in the comments has said that there needs to be a handicap system based on the PGA ratings, similar to ball golf handicap. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure about this one. I
would argue that that's what divisions and rating does. So the PDJ is actually pretty good when it comes to this is what your rating is. This is how that applies to what division you play in. So that way the idea of, if you're I know the handicap system is set so that anyone can kind of play anyone, because it's like, oh, hey, look, your handicap's a 7. So you get 7 strokes on your round. Yeah. Disc golf is a bit different in the fact of, well, sweet, if you have a 7 handicap, you should be playing with other 7 handicap people rather than, oh, hey, look, you play with that. And and yes, I know that that's super different. And I have the luxury of, I didn't play golf competitively to the handicap system. I've always played disc golf. I've always played disc golf fairly competitively. So I come from this system of you play against people who are at your level rather than anyone showing up on the day can win kind of deal, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I think that it makes for a better time if everybody plays in a division that is where you've got similarly rated players, and as you say, that's the idea of it. If a lot of the best players in the country started turning up and playing in MA1, then that would I don't know, probably knock a few people off, and some people would be like, well, what are you doing? You know, that would be a bit silly, I think. But I mean, you know, each their own. But on the kind of wider PGA front, I think it's a very good idea to join the PDGA, at least for some of the reasons we've spoken about. It's such a small amount to pay each. Well, it's only really one-off payment.
And
it's
like $20 a year, like $30 for 2 or something, which is nothing.
Yeah, and it does get you a discount. It should get you a discount at tournament entries. I know certainly it costs more to the tournament director to register non-PDGA members. Is that right? Is that an additional fee? Not
for international. We pay more fees to NZDG than we pay to New Zealand to the PDGA.
Yeah. But there are other advantages in that you're growing some of the you're growing the sport at the grassroots level. PDGA puts a lot of money into the AM side of the game all over the world. They do a lot for, you know, I helped organize the women's global event, and the PDGA that would have been a lot more expensive to run from a tournament director perspective and therefore a player perspective. The PDGA gave some pretty good deals, especially on the players packs that we got. So yeah, it's certainly something that we should that you should join if you're not a member already.
Yep. And honestly, if you have any questions about the PDGA, about being rated, about any of that kind of stuff, I've been dealing with them for 7 years. You know, reach out, leave it in the comments, contact like Human Highlighter, contact Sweet Chain. We'll answer all of your questions when it comes to any of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. Now, let's go through some results. We had it was a PGA C tier up in McLaren's at the weekend, the Delta Blues Buster, and the results from that were Jimmy Tutufu took out the win by 3 strokes over yourself and Andy Clune. I think finished in joint second place. So well done to you. And Amy Whitmore took out the ladies division from the advanced card, actually. And Paula Wilson finished in second out of the ladies. So we got some of our picks right, but it wasn't a great weekend for the picks, to be honest.
To be fair, Blair didn't show up, so he was one of our picks, so that kind of threw everything in, which jumps Jimmy into the top 3. The idea that it is Jimmy's home course now, I thought he was still based in Auckland. That's my bad. Jimmy, shout out to you. To be fair, he played incredible golf. There are specifically 2 birdies I can think of in that last round where he threw his Tui on one of them on new hole 11, and then on hole 14 when he threw his Ruru, both times getting inside the circle, both times making 8-meter putts. Like mad shout out to him. He 100% deserved, you know, like he fought down the line. Andy was in the lead for most of that final round. You know, I only caught him literally on the last hole to tie for second. So like it was a super good battle. And yeah, like absolutely Jimmy earned it. Nothing against him. Congratulations, man. That was an epic win. It was great to watch.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. So moving on to our picks for the Bros for Chains charity classic this weekend in Christchurch. They got heaps of players. I think it's close to 90 odd players playing, which is fantastic. Brady, do you want to kick us off in FPO? Who do you think is going to take it out in FPO?
Do you have the site up? Can you bring it up for me?
Yeah, I can.
Now, I was going to say, will we have your data analytics team to back us up again this week or no?
What do you mean? To give the...
Have they updated their numbers from Tauranga? Though I don't... Is anyone who played Delta down for Bros?
No, but the ratings have changed. The rankings have changed, which might change things elsewhere. Just give me one moment, and I shall have
Okay,
to.
here we go.
Yeah, so there we are.
Looks like my data analytics team is faster than yours.
Quite possibly. Right, here we go. So that's the advanced division. So in the open division, we'll sort by rating, which might help. And there we go. There's our MPO division. Should we start there?
Yeah, we'll just start at the top. Like, there's no way he's going to be beat on his home course, especially after that loss in the playoff. Ashton's number one. He's heating up at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's definitely top spot. Oh man, will I give it?
What order do you put the next three in?
I gotta go Ashton. I gotta go Isaac. He's feeling comfortable. He's going to take second, so they're going to swap from last weekend. Then I'm going to go John Hughes in third.
Okay.
And I will put Jasper in fourth.
Okay.
I think Jasper's going to fall into too aggressive down the back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we shall see. It's actually got flex line coverage, Bros for Change. So we're going to look forward to seeing some of the highlights for that. So make sure that you go over to the Flexline page, like and subscribe to their YouTube channel. I've got in fourth place Willie Taratana taken out. He plays that course heaps. So I'm going to go for him in fourth place. Jasper Vandermeer in third. John Hughes in second, and Ashton Clark I've got to take out of the division. So yes, I think it's going to be another Ashton John battle. In the ladies division, slightly smaller ladies division, we've got an advanced division here, but it's going to be quite competitive, I suspect.
First off, just on the open division, Bray, can you comment? Because I know you're watching. Is this your first open event, Bros for Change? Just because I know he's been playing in advance for quite a while. So I just kind of wanted to give Bray a shout out if this is his first open event. So because he's been playing super hot in Invercargill.
He's been playing open all season. Look.
Has he really? Well done. Clearly, I need to play more tournaments on the South Island.
There you go, Bray. You got your PGA.
Shout out whole season. Yeah. Well done. But yeah, So sleeper pick Bray for the top four.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I'm going to say that Callie Thompson can actually do a bit of a repeat, because this is his home course as well, right? So, or Queen's Park Reserve is probably closer, but certainly Brooker Ave, he plays a lot, and he was very useful. I was on the same card as him at Peter Crawford, and he's a very useful player. Came fifth at the Fling, so yeah, outside pick.
He's your sleeper.
He's my sleeper. In the ladies division, just the 3 players, but as I said, probably very competitive.
Yep. I honestly have to put it right in that order. I got to go Stephanie 1, Eilish 2, Megan 3rd. Yeah, probably that. I don't know if Eilish hasn't been hot. Maybe this could be her tournament and that kind of stuff. I just find that, especially on this bigger, long open stuff, I think Stephanie will just be more solid down the stretch. So I give her top spot.
Yep, I would agree. I would agree with that. So we're going to go on to future events now. So we've got some events that are coming up very soon. So we've got the Bros for Change Charity Classic, Bros for Change, and the Spring Break in Tucker Beach that Morgan's putting on this weekend, and then it's Fault Line Fury. Wahitapu is the week after, then the match play in Inglewood, and then Day in the Dunes. And then I need to update this for January, because it's looking a bit blank here. So, yes.
Yeah, what's the bottom half there, man? And you're missing, there's still the Glow event in Queenstown that you're missing.
You're right. You're
so the Night of Nocturnals or whatever.
Yeah.
It's probably up past your bedtime. I know you're a dad, so you don't stay up that late anymore.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So, yes. There is that. I'm sure Hemi will put a link into the comments for anybody who misses it. But there was a small change in our ratings since last week. So Amy Whitmore moves up 4 places in the ladies division, and Andy Clune's second place was not good enough to keep him in 12th. He slips back 1 spot to 13th, but I suspect that will change all quite a bit after this weekend, and then Faultline as well. Now we've got to talk a little bit about next week's show, Brady. So next week, as well as our guest, we will also be previewing the Faultline Fury course, or at least Harcourt Park.
Yep.
So what's going to happen is we're going to go through each of the holes at Harcourt Park. Brady is going to give us the pro line. If you want to shoot a 1,000 rated, then you're going to be wanting to follow his tips for the lines to take. If, however, you want to play it safe and shoot a safe, stable 900 rated round, then you should listen to me and my picks, and I shall be showing you how to par every hole. Which, and to be honest, par is good enough for 900, or not even higher. I think last night par came in at about 905 or something. So, and the week before was about 920. So, depending on the conditions, even par at Harcourt is okay. Especially if you're in the advanced division. Lovely stuff. Anything else for us to go through, Brady? Anything you can think of?
I have to, just in international news, because I always like to touch upon that and to keep the finger on the pulse of what's going on. UDisc, is it UDisc or the Disc Golf Pro Tour? One of them, UltiWorld, has just released their superlatives for the year. So like the number 1 putter, the number 1 like fairway hits, and that kind of stuff. We'll put that link in the description below after the video. I do have to give a shout out to Corey Ellis. So in the past 5 years, as every year that they've kept it, the highest so far for putting percentage for C1X, so everything but tap-ins, has been 88%. And that's been pretty consistent. I think women come in just over 80. Corey Ellis this year shot 90.3. So sets the single year like C1X putting record by basically 2 points. So the idea of, there's heaps of other stats in there. So if you're a stats guy, Matt, tell your data analytics team, there's heaps of stats to go through because new things that came up. Bounce back stat is up, which was really good. Ricky had a 51% bounce back stat, which I thought was incredible.
So this
they
is
also
what,
have
getting a birdie after a bogey?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, that's bounce back stat. The other big one that creeped in this year was the strokes gained. Was a really interesting thing to kind of see, because you would think that someone like, Ricky and Paul arguably both had good years, and of course were ahead on strokes gained overall. But it was interesting because really only Ricky dominated the stats beyond that. Like Paul didn't really feature very much, even though he was making more strokes across the field and like throughout a tournament. He wasn't necessarily like winning any one particular one.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting. So yeah, that came out. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of data coming out. There was a big Eric Oakley, one of the huge forces behind Dynamic Disc, stepped away a year early from his contract. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes. So it'll be nice, like we'll be able to announce the Discmania 1 and 4 as they come out in the next couple months, and also be able to follow a few people stateside, some of the bigger touring pros, and see where they go this year, if they stick around, or if any more big moves are coming in the future.
Excellent. Okay. Well, Brady, look, very good to have you on the show. Thank you once again. And we shall see you next week. We'll be previewing Faultline. And yeah, we've got a busy weekend up in Masterton on Saturday.
Yeah. Bit of fun this weekend. Bit of fun.
Yeah. So casual event up in Masterton if you're around the capital this weekend. And quick shout out, actually. Liz tells us there's 5 spots left at Faultline. So if you're not registered,
get in.
If you're not registered, then now is the time to get yourself in for what it will be one of the best tournaments of the year, I'm sure. So that's it from us. Whatever you're doing, wherever you're going, have a good disc golfing day. Get some birdies, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.